Be process oriented. You really have to get out of your head, get out of social conditioning, and stop worrying about what the outcome is. It may seem very far away. You may be like, oh, well, it take time to get there. But if you're not in love with the process and enjoying every moment of it, then you're trying to escape the you that's here now. I mean, you've never successfully done anything in the past. Can you go back and do something in the past right now? And I'm sure you know that you can't, likewise, do anything in the future. So the you that's here now has to be fully engrossed, engaged in your own life's journey. Think of everybody else and everything else they got going on in their lives. Are they even that process oriented? I'm sure you know that people get caught up caring what other people think about them, what they might say. They get stuck in their heads. And you see, not just in yourself, but other people not become successful, not achieve what they want because they're not really living the process. They're not really engaged in their own life, present to the moment, conscious, feeding into themselves self-love throughout the day, endlessly, moment to moment. And that's the direction that you really have to take if you want to be able to, enjoy the process and really switch your perspective to becoming process oriented. First thing is you have to stop worrying about the outcome. Obviously you have a goal, obviously you want to get there, but it's going to take time. And if you're getting in your own way, getting caught up in your thoughts, not living life in the moment, how are you going to be process oriented? How are you going to find the enjoyment in the little things moment to moment? Now, if you stop worrying about the outcome, you detach yourself, you don't become dependent on what the end goal, achievement, accolade, whatever it is, then you take off that pressure, off that need to have something in order to be enough, in order to be able to enjoy what you're doing. In the end, you'll get there. If you're taking the path and you're doing what needs to be done, you'll get there. But why aren't you seeing that right now, that this is where all the glory is, this is where all of the fullness of life's experience is? You're not any less because you haven't gotten to that end goal. And shifting your perspective to not be outcome dependent is one of the first things that you have to do. You can't worry about how quickly you're getting there. Are you getting there in the right way? Are you even going after the right goal? You should be more worried about yourself now. How engaged are you in your life's journey? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun? Are you getting out of your own way, getting out of your head? And it's super easy to check these blind spots when you do find yourself falling to them. Say, just for a moment, you take a breath, you breathe deeply in for 5 seconds, you hold it for 5 seconds, you let it out for 5 seconds. You stop, you still your mind. You let whatever thoughts go, whatever dependence on worrying about, how you're getting from point A to point B, whether or not you're doing things right, and you just realize that you are you. Being you is enough. You are enough. Now, social conditioning, so much stimulus coming at you all day, every day. You're falling into judgment, comparing yourself to other people. You're falling into judgment, judging yourself against your own progression. There's so much to think that you need to compare yourself to in order to, see if you're even making the accomplishments and making the strides that need to be. But those are all just pitfalls. Social conditioning, societally imposed. If you were by yourself alone, going into uncharted territory, there's no one else whose merit you can judge yourself off of. You don't even know what the final outcome is. And there's so much abundance in the world that there's no reason for you to not think that your own specific way of getting to the end goal is the right way. Thus, why aren't you enjoying your adventure, your story, the day in the life of you, moment to moment, this life movie? Why are you dwindling it down and watering it down to be something any less? Just worrying about the end. Well, how can I get to the end faster? Are you trying to fast forward through your life? Are you really not that process oriented, not enjoying the process, not enjoying your own life? These are some of the critical things you need to see where you fall into blind spots. And it may be that, on said goal that you have, you are enjoying the process. You're not comparing yourself, judging yourself. You're not caught up in social conditioning, worrying about, the little things, getting caught up. You may be enjoying the process, but where else in your life are you not being process oriented? If you are getting stuck in worrying about, the outcome of like each step, how you're getting there, or worried about the outcome of, the long term of like how is it going to look when I achieve said goal, then, it doesn't matter if it's your main pillar, your main purpose, your main thing that you're trying to pursue. It could be something as small as a daily task. Why aren't you invested in your life in everything you do? It's another blind spot that comes up a lot, is that people aren't being process oriented across the board. They may be process oriented in something that they're passionate about, but then when it comes to a menial task that they've been conditioned to view as, less favorable, then they're not process oriented in there. And that poison dripping that you're doing to yourself, I mean, technically social conditioning is imposing upon you whatever skewed perspective. You're wearing some goggles that are telling you, oh well, I need to worry about the outcome. I gotta care about being meticulous and the way other people are viewing me. And that clouds your judgment. That skewed filter on your vision takes you away from being able to be process oriented in the little things, and that turns into poison dripping, because you're like, oh well, if I'm not enough and I need to care about the outcome in this, then it must apply to other things in my life. I should care about other things, and in areas that you may be doing perfectly fine in, and you may be loving the process oriented, enjoying it every step of the way. Slowly over time, that poison dripping, that toxic habit that you're letting grow on the side, where you're judging yourself, being self-critical and analyzing and caring about the outcome, worrying about it, will then start to seep into other areas of your life. You may, for a few days, a month, year, be successfully going on a track, but then that subtle in the back of your head, where your daily tasks that you don't really put that much effort into, you don't enjoy as much, will seep over into other avenues of your life, because that perspective, when something comes up that's a trigger in your purpose, in your passion, will then grab a foothold and be like, oh well, now I can make you care about the outcome here too. Ah yes. And it'll pull you down, it'll drag you down, it'll stifle you, it'll change the perspective of which you're viewing your goals, and it'll diminish that sense of groundedness that you had before. And that's just another way that the social conditioning can creep in and turn into poison dripping. But overall, all in all, you just have to stop worrying about the outcome. You can't worry about the outcome. It'll come. There's abundance. There's so much in this world, on this planet, in the cosmos. What's accessible to you, around you, may seem limited, but that's just your own perception. How much do you think it takes for you to make a small stride forward, for you to level up just a little bit? That little bit of a gain. It doesn't take much effort at all. But if you're stuck caring about the outcome, limiting the scope of your vision, then you start to narrow into scarcity, and you don't see as widely as you would in abundance. And that abundance is crucial. If you're not operating and living life with no filter skewing the amount of abundance that you can see, then you're not really living right. There's so many areas that you can level up, and it goes back to, are you being process oriented for yourself? Not necessarily only in what passions you have, but in every aspect of your life and how you're moving forward. Are you breaking out of that social conditioning and really showing yourself self-love, seeing the abundance that's around you, that, well, I can level up a little bit over here, I can get a little bit of a gain over here, and although it may not be a super high stride forward, it's not a life hack, it's not a shortcut, it still is something beneficial. I can give myself self-love. I can do a little stretch. I can take a deep breath. I can drink some water. I can eat some healthy food. I can do some affirmations. I can, do some exercise. I can do some research. I can take a tangible, actionable step forward in some area of my life, being process-oriented and invested in my growth in every way, shape, and form. But social conditioning puts you in your head. Oh, it's boring. Washing the dishes can't be fun. going on a routine errand can't be fun. But in reality, it's really you and up to you and your perspective. Are you seeing the abundance? Are you seeing your productivity? A moment to stop, think, reflect, and become present? To learn to enjoy being you, be comfortable being you? But taking out the trash is beneath me. That's something I find annoying. You know, listening to people talk about certain things, that triggers me, that annoys me. I want to put up my defenses. But being in resistance is equally toxic to you as, being in scarcity and not abundance. If you're in resistance to things, then there's not really a fluidity and an ease, a lightness as you're going through your life. Why are you in resistance to being yourself? Obviously, there are things that, you'll be dissatisfied with, that you won't resonate with. But why aren't you trying to take a smoother path through navigating that instead of, trying to completely avoid it, trying to break through it, trying to be in resistance? You should accept it and then move on. Wow, I can't change this circumstance, but I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna get hung up in the little things that I can't control right now. I'm gonna still strive forward. I'm gonna see the abundance. I'm not gonna fall into scarcity. I'm gonna see that there's an ease and lightness to how I can move forward. I'm not gonna be in resistance. But it all comes down to your perspective of you getting out of your head. Why are you thinking? Why are you overthinking these things? Why aren't you looking and seeing, wow, there's space around me. I have a bubble. I can choose where to build up my standards, build up my defense. There should be no reason why you're letting this external stimulus come in and skew your perspective on your life and change the way that, you feel that you have to navigate. You should be able to do whatever you love, but also love doing everything that you do, whether it be a menial task, whether it be a large, ambitious goal. You should still have that drive, still have that hunger, still have that passion of living the fullness of your own life. But social conditioning will come in and tell you, oh, but you're not living the ideal life. This isn't that girl's trip to Hawaii that you had. This isn't that, girl's night out. These epic tales, these epic things that you have to compare to. This is just something that's day to day. But are you going to spend your life waiting, trying to fast forward, go unconscious, go on autopilot, not be present until you get to that? Or are you going to enjoy, the breath that you take, all those little small things, just being you, feeling comfortable in your own skin, and then in turn taking that and loving the process, becoming process oriented, and loving not only the process of going to a goal, but the process of every step that you take. Moving in your body. Are you at one? You could go and you could play a video game and be the one who's controlling the avatar, or you could be caught up in the video game thinking that you can't do much. You're limited to whatever external is telling you what to do, whether it be social conditioning, whether it be your biological drives, whether it be your thoughts, you're craving stimulus, craving some ego gratification. There's so much conditioning that can help you, but there's so much conditioning that does not help you. It's like just noise consistently going, and then you feel like you're the character in the video game. You have these obstacles that you're in resistance to. You gotta get there. You gotta get the high score. People are watching you. Or you could take a step back and realize, hey, this is fun. I can control myself. I can get in the driver's seat. I can do whatever I want. I'm in control. I've become self-aware. I've detached myself from realizing that I had blind spots where I wasn't enjoying the process, not enjoying life, not getting the fullness of whether it be your five senses, whatever you are using to experience your life. There's so much going on. Just the fact that you're alive alone is phenomenal. But why is it that gets watered down, that you're not enjoying the process? Whether it be just being you at the core, that social conditioning is trying to put layers and layers of things on top, that, oh, you have to get through all of this to be able to enjoy life. Or are you able to dissolve that, to detach yourself from these standards of external validation, ego gratification, hunting for the next satiation of your biological drives, and are you able to actually, wow, even though I may not have all of these things that will bring me to the utmost enjoyment, I can have the utmost enjoyment of life just being me, being present, being in the now, being conscious, and enjoying every step of the way. Not questioning, no self-doubt. My core confidence is in me, that I can enjoy being me without needing anything else. Now, you can't just skip steps to get to the end of your journey, obviously. We talked a lot about being process-oriented and getting into it, but if you're really not enjoying the process, then why are you doing it? I mean, you can always come back to it, but why are you struggling through, trudging through, being uncomfortable with being yourself, imposing so much, self-discontent and suffering and anguish and mental torment if it's not really something that you enjoy? You're living your life for you. If you're doing something in order to appease someone else, you played yourself. If you're doing something because you've been told to think that it's the right thing, then you also played yourself. You really can't skip to the end of anything. So if you're not enjoying being you every step of the way, becoming process-oriented, enjoying the process, then you might as well just leave it behind. There's so much to experience in life, and if you're narrowing yourself to this one track and you're really trying to pursue it, but you're not enjoying it, then enough said. Try something else. You can always come back to it. But why are you not enjoying the process? Why aren't you enjoying life and being you? Why do anything if you don't feel like it? Are you gonna just do anything anybody tells you? So why are you gonna do something for yourself that doesn't benefit you, add positive vibes to your life, give you some long-term gain of enjoyment? And if you are, say, trying to aspire to achieve something and you're not enjoying it, but you still want to get there, then get present to the moment. You're here now. You're here now. You're alive. You're living. Experience it. Now, a great resource for getting present is Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. Shout out Eckhart. Get out of your head and get present to the moment. Stop thinking about things, putting on sets of goggles that are skewing your judgment with different filters. Try to remove your bias and just enjoy what is. Enjoy being. Going to a concept I love is you are enough. Now, you are enough is such a powerful tool when it comes to combating social conditioning, because societally, there's all this external stuff, just like this bamboo smacking me on the face, just consistently. It's in your face. You can't get away from it. It's here. Now, you're going to be in resistance to it, or you're going to accept it? Is there going to be an ease and a lightness to what you're doing? Take a moment and say you're going to think of something that stresses you out, that you don't like, that's something that you're experiencing that you feel is keeping you from enjoying life. We're going to take a deep breath in for 5 seconds, hold the breath for 5 seconds, and let the breath out for 5 seconds. Whoa, check it. There's a huge spider on my arm. Huge. Came out of nowhere, out the bamboo. Now, just like this spider, I feel like it's a great analogy for what is there that you're thinking is sitting there on your shoulder, just like this spider. Oh, where'd spider go? You jump? You jump? You badass? Is he in my shirt? Spider, where'd you go? My friend. Well, spider didn't want to hang. But the point is, say, taking that spider. Things you feel are holding on to you, are there. You experience it. When that thing leaves you, you've had we'll call it a negative reaction. You're triggered by it in a way that you don't find satisfactory. And then you store that as a thought in your head. Now, those thoughts are there continuously throughout the rest of your life until you accept that was something that you thought, and then transmute that into acceptance of, all right, well, that was what it was. But now there's a completely different version of me. I happen to love spiders. They're amazing. All what is around me is amazing. I could choose to be like, is there another spider? Is it gonna crawl in my ear? Is it like on my back? What's going on? Or I could be like, oh wow, well, there's in your life a spider. Say I didn't like spiders. Well, there's a spider. Oh no, how will I be able to enjoy life with this spider on my arm? You could get stuck in thought. You could think. Or you could take a breath. We'll do the in 5, hold 5, out 5. Now, for a moment there, I hope that you're able to still your mind, stop thinking for a second, and really be able to get into the present moment, get into the now. Now, when you have that spider on your arm, that thing that you don't like, the part of the process of your life that you're in resistance to, take a breath and realize that it'll pass, it'll be gone. But are you going to be in resistance, trying to fast forward through your life? I don't want to get closer to anything but this, what I'm experiencing. Death is the end. Nobody knows how to escape death. So let me just fast forward through my life right now to get away from this because I'm in such resistance. I'm stuck in my head. Or you could take a breath and realize, wow, I'm alive right now. And that's just one thing, but think of all the things that you can see, you can feel, taste, touch, smell. You have so much that you can use to intake. There's literally a plant right here that's been growing. Leaves that can digest sunlight and carbon dioxide. A tree right here, beautiful bark. The oxygen around me. Why are you getting stuck in things that you don't enjoy in your life when there's so much else that you could focus on? And if you don't like it, going back to what I was saying, if you don't resonate with the process, you don't like being process oriented because you're in resistance to it, then leave it behind. Why are you doing things that you don't want to do? Why are you letting the social conditioning, like this bamboo, just be up in front of you, blocking your vision, making you think that it's an unenjoyable journey? There's not an ease. If you're in such resistance, then hey, leave it behind. Come back to it later. Try something else that you do enjoy. But at the core, you really got to learn to love being you. Enjoy being you. Enjoy that process of the day in the life of you, moment to moment to moment. There's no point in fighting it. There's no point in going out of your way to be in resistance, to try to, fast forward through life closer to death. That's a great thing that, shout out Julian from RSD, got me hip to. It's like so many people live their lives fast forwarding, trying to get closer to death just to escape the discomfort with being them. Oh, I can't be alone and quiet. I gotta find some stimulus. Oh, I don't like this process, being process oriented. It's just me in the process now. I'm gonna fall into scarcity. I'm gonna become narrow-minded, and my scope of vision is gonna be filtered. I'm gonna be stuck in my head. No, you don't want to go down those tracks at all. You want to switch your perspective. Fundamentally, at your core, you really have to start to learn to love being yourself in every moment. And if something externally isn't what you want to do, you gotta leave it. If it's not serving you, if it's not adding positive vibes, good value to your life, then you're just hanging on to it just for the sake of hanging on to it. So leave those ways behind and accept a new way of looking at things where you're getting present to the moment. Anytime you catch yourself getting triggered, anytime you see a blind spot that you have where you're not being process oriented, you're getting stuck in your head, you're letting social conditioning and the perception of others, what you've been told over your life, judge and dictate how you're experiencing life, as opposed to letting go of that filter, getting present to the moment and just enjoying being you. That's all you have to do. Get present to the moment. Wake up and enjoy being you and your life. Because you can either, like Julian said in the example, fast forward to death, try to escape everything, try to drown it out, try to trudge through and, be stuck in this mentality of you versus the world and scarcity and resistance. Or you could get present, let go of that skewed perception that you have, and enjoy every bit of the moment. Take a moment right now to enjoy being you. Give yourself some self-love right now. See what in your environment are you missing out on in your life's experience. Obviously you're consuming some content right now, but what else is there that you're missing out on because your attention's being drawn to this? Not saying don't enjoy the content, but try to expand and enjoy the content in addition to how you're feeling, the clothes on your body, what you're hearing, what's around you that you can see, smell, taste, touch. Take a moment right now. Just pause for 10 seconds. 15, we'll do another breath. And see what is going on in your life's experience that you're in resistance to, that you're drowning out because you're stuck in your head. I'm sure you're able to recognize something that caught your attention, that you were able to feel, taste, touch, smell, see. That you didn't really notice before. I didn't really fully feel the bamboo against my body, against my back, my face. I didn't really feel the stance that I was taking and how my legs felt from my hips down, my knees to my feet to the ground. Feel my shoes, feel my clothes, the sounds of the cars, the birds, the sound of the trees rustling against each other. What else in your environment are you missing out on? The taste of some fresh air as it crosses my mouth. The scent of the breeze and the air around me. So much fullness that you can get present to, so that even when you feel like you're in resistance, that there's scarcity, that you're not able to enjoy being process oriented, that there's something in you, in your head, that you're getting stuck in your thoughts, and you need to get out of that social conditioning and realize that out of all the things you feel like you have to calibrate, compensate, and consider, you are at the core, the thing that is going through the experience. And if you can detach yourself from your thoughts and get out of your head, stop fighting yourself and enjoy being yourself, life will become so much more enjoyable. You're waking up to being you. And it's hard because you've been conditioned to settle for less. That, if there's not that stimulus, instant gratification, ego getting satiated, biological drives being fulfilled, then there's nothing to really enjoy. There's nothing to, be able to live life through. But if you're able to, like I said, get present, detach yourself from thinking that you need that to satisfy you, to fulfill you, then you'll have so much more to enjoy in life. Because you're being you. That you that's being layers and layers and layers of things that you think you need, that are telling you that you're not enough. Instead you can just push those aside and really be you and live life you, enjoying every moment, because it's coming from a place of centeredness, a sense of abundance, a sense of knowing that at your core with all the confidence you have, you know you are enough. Now, when it comes to being process-oriented, the more you can enjoy what you're doing in the moment, the higher quality of work you'll be able to achieve. Going back to why I was saying just leave it behind, is if you're not present to the moment, then your mind is elsewhere, your focus is elsewhere, and you're not really able to be process-oriented and enjoy that process of what you're doing, regardless of what it may be. Now, social conditioning is probably playing a factor if this is an issue, because you're always striving for the end. You're always chasing something else that's not here where you're at. Oh, in order to be happy and to be able to be process-oriented and be happy, I need this. When in reality, if you would just be comfortable being you in the present moment, you would be realizing that you're enough and be happy. Instead, you're stuck there chasing something else, like, oh, well, I'll only be happy when. You've been conditioned to desire the height of experience and only be content when you have that, as opposed to being able to realize you are enough. And that experience of being you is equally as good and enjoyable as the highest external stimulus that could get to you to enhance your experience. It's an enhancement. It's an extra thing for you to enjoy, not what you need in order to be in a state of enjoyment. And the more you can enjoy what you're doing, the higher quality of work you can achieve. It's as easy as that. The more you can enjoy what you're doing, the higher quality of work. If you're not invested in it, if you're not enjoying it, if you're in resistance, then your quality of work will suffer. You may know the steps that you need to take, but are you really giving it that extra love, attention to detail, or are you using it to drown yourself out and to go on autopilot? You know, fall back into that social conditioning of, oh, well, this isn't the height of my experience. This isn't that Vegas girls trip that I had for my birthday. How could I be enjoying the process of, you know, living my life day to day if I'm not at that one day that I'm living for? And it may not be an event, it may be something that's even closer, like the weekend, a day off. You know, waiting until you're off work, finish talking to someone, you know, getting through whatever you're in resistance to. You know, if you're not enjoying the process, that quality of work will suffer because you're turning yourself on autopilot. You're like, oh, well, when I'm in resistance, I lose a bit of consciousness because I fall into scarcity because I'm in resistance. And it's like, oh, now it's me trying to get through this goal, get through this obstacle. There's something there keeping me from being able to get through to what I'm trying to achieve. I'm not enjoying, so I'm gonna not invest as much, and in turn my enjoyment will turn into lessening of quality of what I'm doing. When you don't want to be in that moment, your focus is somewhere else. You're really trying to find escapism through thought, and drowning out the now and your presence and consciousness with thoughts is easy. It's just like, oh, well, now I'm thinking about this little branch of bamboo right here. Oh, wait, there's a whole thing of bamboo. You remember that time where there was that bamboo? Oh, there was a mosquito nearby, and I was in resistance. I was thinking about the mosquito, and oh, look, there's a wasp over there. Oh my gosh, it's so huge, so majestic. It's beautiful. Your mind will find anything to pull yourself away from your resistance to what is. You can either focus and be like, well, I hate this, I don't like it, I'm in resistance, grrr. Or it'll drift off somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about when I get off. I don't really want to listen to this person talk. I can pretend I'm paying attention. But then when you respond, you know your answer's not going to be the highest quality it could possibly be because your mind was elsewhere, your focus was elsewhere. And if you're not enjoying something that you're doing, but you're still carrying it out, and you're choosing to go into autopilot, to let that social conditioning come in, oh wow, every time you don't experience something that you like, you should drown yourself in thought and try to escape it. Because being there is more painful, but if you get stuck in your head and think about something else, then we've got you. We've got that foothold again. Yes, that social conditioning can pull you back into thought and back into your mind. And it was only a temporary escape that it was trying to pull you away. just to cope. You fell into coping for a little bit. You let your mind take over in order to, not have to suffer through whatever the process of action that you're embarking in is. But it got a hold of you, and that's all the social conditioning does. Consistently trying to get you back in your head, find those triggers, and pull you back into that low vibration energy. Shout out RSD, talking about high vibration energy and low vibration energy. If you're enjoying yourself, you're present, you're conscious, you're being process oriented, you're enjoying what you're doing, then you're in a state of high vibration. You see that abundance. You see that there's no scarcity. You see that there's an ease and lightness of how you can go about doing things. You don't need to be in resistance. But as soon as you start to get in your head, start to drift away in thought instead of being present, that low vibration energy got a hold of you. And all it does is want to just pull you back into more low vibration energy. Oh, well, just think about what's not here right now that you could be experiencing. Yes. There's scarcity now. Where are all these fun things that you wanted? They're so far away from you. Well, how are you going to get there? Well, you don't want to experience not having it now. So let's go a little bit deeper into thought. Wow, well, I wish I was here. I would be happier if this was the case. And you just go down a toxic downward spiral. Shout out RSD again with that downward spiral into low vibration energy. That unconsciousness, letting that social conditioning run you, getting you stuck back in your head, dwelling and thinking, oh, I'll be happy when, as opposed to choosing to fuel that upward spiral of high vibration energy by feeding into yourself, by getting focused, putting your attention into what you're doing and enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, finding a way to enjoy it by getting present to the moment so that you can enhance the quality of your work. Oh, well, I'll only be happy when this project is over. I'm stuck. There's this creative buffer that I got. There's this success barrier that I got. This limiting belief is what it boils down to, imposed upon you by social conditioning. Why are you then suddenly questioning whether you're enough or not, whether you have the tools that you need? Shout out to Eckhart Tolle. He uses this analogy of, there's the beggar who's sitting on the box and never looks inside the box. They're just there begging, oh, me, give me. And then in reality, someone comes by and it's like, yo, you check what's in that box? And the beggar opens it up and it's full of gold. The analogy being that you are enough. All you need is within you. To access the present moment just takes you. You don't need anything else. And then when you do that and you find the fullness of enjoyment in life of being yourself, being connected, not in resistance, then you can move forward with ease and lightness and abundance. You can invest and get higher results, higher quality out of what you're doing because you're enjoying it. You're there, you're present. Stop taking away energy from yourself by trying to escape. Every time you go into unconsciousness, go into that stimulus seeking, validation seeking, longing for something else that's not there to satiate you right now, the more you're trying to escape. You're expending your energy, and it may just be via thought, but then you're adding layers of resistance, layers of limitation to you and what you think you need to enjoy yourself being now, which then takes away your energy. It makes your goals seem farther away when the goal in reality should just be to be present, to enjoy the process, go back to being process oriented, finding the enjoyment of the simple things that you are experiencing in order to reconnect with yourself, to become detached from the social conditioning, to get out of your head and wake up to being you and enjoying every little bit of you that's been watered down by everything that you thought that you needed, instead of realizing you are enough and can break away from all this external thoughts, beliefs that have been conditioned into you to think that you need in order to be fulfilled. So be process oriented. Get present to the moment. Use that energy of being present, being one, being in a flow state, to then conquer, achieve, and accelerate breaking down the boundaries of all these goals that you have, instead of being in resistance and trying to trudge through the hard way by going the route that was conditioned into you. Oh, well, these people did it this way. Oh, it's only favorable if I do it this way. I'm going to judge myself because so far I've only been able to achieve this much. Getting caught up in the past, getting caught up in the future. Those are like telling yourself a story. Oh, one day this happened. So based off of that, I'm going to live my life this way now, even though I've traveled through time, space, and things are completely different. But I'll go based off of this past experience. Oh, in the future, I think this might happen. So I'll try to live my life now based off of what I want and or think that is going to be, just cause it's the future and I want it to be that way. But in reality, I'm still traveling through space-time and things will be completely different when I get there. You're just feeding into that social conditioning. You need to get out of your head and realize that the only time you're ever going to be able to live life is now, because you can only take a breath now. And then when you release that breath is gone and a new breath has taken its place. You can only take one step now. Blink once now. And then that version of you is dead and gone, and a new version of you is here. You need to realize that you are going to be the only downfall of yourself if you don't accept that you need to audit and check these blind spots. It's in your hands. No one else is here to help you be a better you because they don't know you. They can't experience life through the eyes of you, through the thoughts of you. They don't have the same filters skewing their life's perception. They have their own filters, their own bias, their own judgment. But it takes you giving yourself that self-love to recondition yourself to operate fundamentally at a place where you have the core confidence and belief in yourself that you are going to be a better you. It takes you owning it and realizing that at your core, the only way you'll be able to achieve success is if you're confident and take up the responsibility to grow and give yourself self-love, because it's in your hands. The tools you need are within you. It just takes you waking up and realizing that you're lacking. You're not taking the initiative to do what you already know needs to be done. Be the best you that you are right now. Enjoy every single moment. Be present. So then you can in turn escape social conditioning, get out of your head, and be process-oriented, enjoying every step of the way in every aspect of life, not in resistance to anything. And it's so simple. The power is within you. You are enough. You are enough. Don't let anything else drown out that laser focus on you and consistently being present. It's easy. You know what you need to do. You just have to take action. Solidify a few reference experiences that will give you grounding and a merit, a data point, whatever you want to call it, to then move forward from. Wow, okay, I was present. I now have that reference experience. I'm now out of my head. I know what that feels like. And stack upon those wins so that you can be process-oriented. You can enjoy life, not in resistance. I want nothing but the best, greatest success and enjoyment of your life by you, for you.